Welcome to the Build Insight podcast. Real people, real insights. Step into the world of innovative construction, one conversation at a time. This is part 2 with Zoe and Andrew sharing their experience as a homeowner. If you missed part 1, head back to last week's episode and catch up on those insights. Otherwise, enjoy the episode. From a homeowner's perspective, what advice could you offer to another homeowner that is looking at selecting a builder? And we'll probably try and stick with, I guess, someone that's got more of the values that you guys do rather than just a average build that's just looking for a builder, that you guys had the principle or the values that you wanted it to be somewhat energy efficient, sustainable, that sort of thing. What advice would you offer to a homeowner that's also looking to select a builder?
So do your research, go on Instagram, give them calls, see if they have a house that's under construction that you can go visit. I think we'd already signed with you maybe by that stage.
Not quite.
No? Okay. But Callery had an open house and we were able to go there. And actually that was really, really good. In visiting the house, we spoke to the homeowner, and the homeowner couldn't speak more highly of Callery. And hearing someone and they were living on site, I believe, as well throughout.
There were too, actually, yeah.
So being able to talk to a builder's client and get their perspective of the build process is invaluable. And seeing a construction site and the quality of workmanship, as you said, it's not just about the glossiness at the end. It's, what makes a house work is everything that's hidden in the walls.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to be able to see.
I think it's interesting because it's such a leap of faith when you sign on the dotted line, and I don't think that matters whether you choose the biggest builder or the smallest builder. I'll never forget walking into work and talking about the fact that we were starting a renovation, and a lady at work had this horrified look on her face and was trying to tell me no because she'd just come out of 5 years with a builder that had gone through the hoop.
Yeah.
And so as Zoe said, you just have to talk to the people and understand, because I'd love to say it's not, but the building industry, it struggles at times, and it's a hard industry to work in and grow and build a reputation in there and do that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Which really highlights the next point I want to discuss, actually, is the importance of communication. Because there is, I could sell you a process up front, make it sound like it's going to be amazing. And again, you sign on the dotted line. It's either one of, if not the biggest investment that you guys could potentially ever make in your life. But then you hear too many stories of it all falls apart after that because there's a lack of communication. There's no project management or supervision or anything like that. Let's get into the communication process through the build. What worked, what didn't work.
Certainly
Day one. We've rocked up to site, you've rocked up to site, and you've gone, oh shit, there's asbestos. And it was watching how you dealt with that immediately started to give me some comfort that we were experiencing something different. I don't know how much of that was that we were living on site, so we were seeing it, and how much of it was there. But I guess in previous iterations of that, we may never have even heard or known what was going on or there would have been an immediate reaction to, stop, that's it. Whereas I think quite quickly it was, this is what's happened. Here's the diagnosis, here's the solution, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to fix it. And so immediately there's a level of kind of comfort and calmness that, okay, we've hit our first hurdle, we're working through it straight away. And it wasn't a head in sand, this isn't happening. It was okay, let's talk through this. Yep.
what I'll also say is we discuss the importance of communication prior to signing the contract.
Yep.
And we discuss how frequently are we meeting. And we agreed that it would be every fortnight on site. At this time, we would meet. These are the people who are going to attend. So that was a commitment before we even signed the contract that we were going to have regular. And we both spoke about how important that communication is.
Absolutely. Because it really, and I said this to you guys at the start as well, you kind of get to the point that those fortnightly site meetings is more of a general catch-up.
Yep.
More effective if you're not living in the home, because we kind of saw you guys just about every day anyway. But for a client that's not living in the home, for them, they've got no idea what's happening on site. So it's more having that open communication, refining it through the design process, so your selections are done, that sort of thing. Those site meetings and that frequent catch up is more of a, how exciting is this? Your windows went in today. Or, how cool is this, guys? You got a roof on there. Or just, it's more of a progress update rather than a, we have this problem.
Yeah.
What do you want us to do?
Yeah. They weren't the time for problems. The problems are also. Yeah.
To be honest, like it's never a complete glossy process. There was definitely a few hurdles that we had to overcome. Some of those meetings were, we've got a bit of a hiccup here. There's a lack of interpretation, or something needs to change, or whatever. Like let's work this out. But yeah, it's that constant or frequent communication that the moment that falls off,
Yes.
the wheels get a bit wobbly.
Yes. And I'd also probably add something that was done really well was the follow-up communication. So we might agree stuff on site, but that was always documented in an email. And I'd say that is critical for anyone who's going down this process
100%.
is to document what's agreed so everyone's on the same page and you both walk away knowing how you're resolving something or knowing something that you've agreed on.
And I feel that you both can appreciate that because I understand a little bit about what your job roles are. It goes hand in hand with that. You do that every day as well. But from the perspective of, we were fortunate that we never had any major disagreements, but it was understanding. And the more that I've grown as a builder, each project you learn from it, if it's not written down, if it's not documented, it doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
You've got nothing to stand on. Like a verbal, yeah, no worries, we'll fix that up, or we'll change that, or you guys change the selection on something. If it's not written down, doesn't matter. So it's trying to flip the mindset of writing everything down, thinking that someone's going to rip you off or do wrong by you. It's not that.
No, it's not.
More just to ensure that communication is just, it's so tight that, am I making sense here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry,
You're
but-
saying this is our site meeting, this is what I understood has happened.
Yeah.
And the person should email back going, yep,
Follow
I
it up in
agree.
writing. Yeah, whether it seems relevant or not, you never know when you might need to come back, and there might be just the most minor thing that could cause a big hiccup later. It's just like, oh shit, sorry, we did speak about that. It's written down here from the 10th of January.
There's a risk it feels contractual, right? So you put it off. But like you just pointed out, my memory is not the world's greatest at times, and so if you get it in writing, it's just a record. That's all. It's a record of a conversation that means, you can go through a list and you can tick and say, has that been done or has that been done?
Yeah. It's kind of it goes with like more of our process as well that we do just as the builder. That's kind of not anything to do with you guys as the homeowner, but the way that we document everything ourselves through the build, so that if we ever need to reflect back on something, things like the X tour when we did the 3D scan to work out where all the services were, things like that. If you've got photos or notes written down, if there's a little bit of a hiccup or it's like, oh shit, there was a PowerPoint missed in the appliance cupboard there, you can go back through your previous documentation or whatever you've got to find solutions for it rather than it becoming a big headache.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. There's a couple of unique parts about your project that I want to touch on actually, because there was, and again, Zoe, how much you want to, I'll let you tell the story actually, because at the start of the concrete pour, on the morning of the concrete pour, it was very last minute, but I loved it. Do you want to talk us through that morning?
Yes, absolutely. So again, I'm going to touch on again, being where we are and having a beautiful creek and environment behind us. I adore our river gum trees. I feel so at peace when I'm outside or can see them, which is, we talked about influence the design of the house. What I wanted to do is, and our house is a home, I guess is what I was trying to say. And I want it to be a welcoming environment, and I want people to feel connected and loved when they're in this space. So I wanted to do a blessing for the house. I had toyed with the idea of writing stuff on the frames when they went up, but decided instead to write a poem as a blessing for the house to, say that everyone who comes in is welcomed, and we live by a creek, and yeah, it was just a nice way to put some positivity into the foundation of the house. So yes, I wrote a poem with the help of ChatGPT. Thank you, ChatGPT. And I handed it to you. Also, thank you as well. Just a quick plug. You did do it on my birthday, and you made sure that pour was on my birthday. Thank you.
Your birthday, yeah.
Yes, so it was a very special day. So I was very excited that day. We were doing the slab pour on my birthday. I'd written this poem, and I had asked you, is this a blessing for the house so people feel welcomed when they walk through, and asked you to embed it in the concrete pour. And then I think you said it was pure coincidence. I mean, you just needed to whack it somewhere, but it just happened to fall at the threshold.
Right by the door.
Yes. So it acknowledged the trees that were around us, and I'm sure we're going to touch on this anyway. What I love as well is, I don't know how soon after, it was a week, a day, or whatever it was, we found an imprint of one of the gum leaves on the slab, which some might go, oh no.
I panicked, don't worry.
Whereas I love it. And, maybe I'm just a little bit quirky, but to me that's my blessing back from.
And it made complete sense. It was.
I was impressed you didn't shake your head, because I was shaking my head the entire time.
I was. You didn't see it though. You weren't here.
It's just internally.
You seemed quite happy to do it. I'm like, that's fantastic. Well done, Luke.
For over 130 years, Bowens has been the builder's choice, providing a service that provides timber, hardware and innovative building products.
And now we're helping you further with this wonderful partnership.
The family that have been here for generations, Bowens, has been powering the Australian building industry with family values, trusted service and the drive to make our industry better. They're helping us provide you the insights that matter. Build insight together with Bowens.
Real people,
Real insights.
But yeah, I'll never forget that. Because you couldn't see it on the pour day because they'd trowed it, and it's a burnished slab, so the concreter just kept troweling, and the leaf that no one noticed got embedded in the top of the concrete. And it was only a couple of weeks later, when the concrete polishers came, that their resin pads buffing over it, pulled the leaf out, and it couldn't have happened any better. It was an entire gum leaf, not like a half that would normally float down or break or whatever. A full perfect stencil of a gum leaf. That I definitely panicked about. I was like, oh shit. Well, knowing that we could grout it and cover it up, but Zoe said, no, please leave it.
I love it. And it's all part of the journey, isn't it? And I have also said, yes, we have burnished floors. They will get chipped, they'll get marked, there'll be cracks, but it's a home to be lived in. It's not a show home. Or show house. It's a home, and every single crack and chip is a story to tell. I don't
know whether I should say this or not, but I did have to say to Zoe a few times that she was reminding me of the more character in the concrete, the better. But remember the day the guy was welding upstairs?
Yeah.
So
oh, that's right.
Anyway, there was a few welding sparks flying around that didn't get quite
all
prepped.
All part of the story.
I was not happy about it, but Zoe said, don't worry about it. But welding burn marks is a bit different to leaf imprints. So
character.
We fixed that up pretty quick. Yeah, that was a cool experience.
To be fair, you only had 4 or 5 signs saying this is a finished surface, please take care. So you couldn't have expected
no food, no beverages, no whatever.
Adhesives,
so, yeah. But that's okay. We got there. One more unique experience. This is I know this podcast was more about learning about your experience as a homeowner and advice for other builders, but I do want to make one little comment here. Zoe, you had a very unique experience at the Master Builders Awards. I don't want to take the story here. I don't want to make it sound too much about me, even though it is about me, but do you want to share that?
So Master Builders had their awards night in Adelaide. I don't think they normally do that.
It changes.
It changes each year.
The national awards change city each year. So I think last year was, well, not last year now, but anyway, Brisbane, and then fortunately last year it was in Adelaide.
Yes. So it is the national awards, and I didn't realise until maybe a couple of days before you had been nominated for the Young Builder Award, Young Builder Australia. I don't know the exact title.
National Young Builder of the Year.
National Young Builder of the Year. You were nominated for the National Young Builder of the Year. And I think you were just saying, yes, I've got an awards night. And I said, no way. my company that I work for has
Going to the same thing.
has been nominated for an award, and
Yep.
I'm going to the same thing. So I did feel very lucky to be able to be there as your current client as well, to see you win that award and go up on stage. It was certainly lovely to be able to share that moment with you, and our project also won as well. So I also got to
What a
go up on
night.
stage. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was really, really lovely sharing that.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah,
And
that
it
was very...
sounds silly, but it was also like I guess a nice thing in terms of a acknowledgement that we'd chosen the right builder as well, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
we didn't know that was on the cards and it was there, but it was like, as you said, there's the journey there that came quite early in the journey,
Yeah.
and so you go, okay, yep, we've made a good choice.
Yep.
Yes. And I did like to, tell everyone who was interested in the build process. They're going, oh, how's your builder? Is he okay? I'm like, it's great. He won the Young Builder of the Year. The Builder of the Year. We're good. We've got someone good here.
Well, I hope that's it. I don't know whether anyone else has ever experienced that before or not, but having a client at an awards night like that was pretty special to me.
Yeah,
it was bizarre, but I'm very grateful for that. I won't keep you guys all day because I know, Andrew, you do need to get back to work, and you're pretty keen to. Actually, we're going to do a handover yet. We're going to give you the keys and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, guys, this is very fresh. Like today is actually handover day, so we're not going to hang around too long actually, so we can get this done because they're pretty keen to start moving some stuff back in. I just want to finish on just a few tips from you guys for other homeowners. Again, we may have touched on some of these already, but just little pieces of advice that you would offer for someone that's about to start their own build or reno.
Research. Do your research.
I'd go back one step first. I think before you do your research, understand what's important to you. Because if you don't know what your values are, then you're not going to know what you're willing to compromise or not on. So before you start down that path,
It'd just be driven by someone else.
I don't. We wouldn't have got to you if Zoe's values and principles hadn't been as strong as they were, if that makes sense. So I think it's important to know what's actually important to you first.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very true. So know your values, do your research, work out what you're willing to compromise on. Acknowledge that it's a dynamic process. It won't go smoothly, but if you've done your research and find a builder that, it's not just the right price, because price shouldn't, and with work, we assess tenders. Price is something, but experience and quality and just a general feel for them. I mean, they're all contributing factors. So, meet with your builder, look at what work they've done, follow them on social media, just do your due diligence around them, really make sure they're, financially viable company. You don't want to invest your money in someone who's going to go bankrupt in 6 months' time.
And even more to that, it's not just about the builder, it's about getting the right designer on board as well. Research your designer.
Yes, it is. Research your designer. Again, going back to the values, making sure their values align with yours. Early involvement, get your builder involved early in the design process so they can add that constructability input. Agree on communication strategy, how frequently you meet on site. Also, a good tip as well is, and I'm harking back to right at the start, was also choose a builder who doesn't have 300 sites on the go. It's good working with a builder who will say, we don't believe in our site supervisor having more than 4 or whatever it was sites on the go. Then that your site supervisor is going to be present and you'll be able to have a conversation with them.
And they'll actually supervise your project.
They will supervise the project and not just be a flyby.
Yep. What do you wish you'd known at the start that you didn't know? Like anything that you wish you knew then?
I don't know. I guess this is kind of my 6th build or reno. I think you still learn new things throughout. But I wouldn't say there's necessarily been any surprises as such after this time.
I don't know.
I think we've been really fortunate throughout, and again, we took time to get the design pretty well right. So, you know, I think I remember the day that we signed and we laughed and said we would be in by Christmas this year, and you said, no, it'll be there. And again,
we didn't think it would be until Christmas.
Yeah, we didn't think it would be until Christmas this year, and here we are in July, and you said, it'll be July, and, you know, it's bang on time. There's been a level of comfort throughout, so we haven't had to learn things.
Yep.
Because every step of the way,
open communication.
Exactly, open communication. You've backed up and said what you were going to do. The old boss / colleague used to always talk about that, and Zoe would say, like, say what you're going to do and do what you're going to say.
Yep.
Do what you've said.
Yeah.
And I think you've lived that throughout. We've kind of always known, and I think I remember a conversation we had that I'd happened to have with a painter because I'm sneaky, and I'd have that, and I felt like the build was going to be finished earlier, and you just kept saying, no, we'll work through there. and you had the knowledge that things change. And so you constantly manage my expectations, because I'm going, it's going to be, it's going to be even earlier than you said. And you're like, no, there's stuff that comes that you're not seeing at the moment. Like we're there, we're close, but understand the last part can be the part 2.
Circus Studio is Australia's leading interior design centre. If you're an architect, building designer, interior designer, builder, or just looking to build your dream home, you need to make a time and come in and check out the space here in Port Melbourne.
With everything from wall and ceiling linings, doors, architectural hardware, cladding and flooring.
This space holds every element that you'll possibly need to design your dream home.
Which is really important, actually, from a builder's perspective, is to educate the client. Like, you guys aren't the ones that are building it. You're not to know. So when you do get to that point where you could make an assumption on, wow, looks like the painter's nearly finished that. We might be 4 weeks ahead. That you don't know what the next process is, that we actually need to test everything and make sure this is done. And the quality control side of it is so important for the builder to also then educate the client so that you understand what's going on.
Yeah, actually, and probably touching on program as well. A couple of things that I really liked about this project is that we always had the 2-week look-ahead discussion at the site meeting. So we weren't kept in the dark on what was going to happen.
Yep.
And I loved the initial whiteboard that had the 4-week look ahead. So, and that just comes from my project management background.
Yep.
Just knowing, and that just speaks volumes about how organised you are as a builder. So for the builders who are listening, having your site supervisor equipped with a whiteboard where you map out the next 4 weeks and you go through day by day when your trades are going to be on site, identifying the critical path and having your team stand around that whiteboard every morning going, right, this morning we've got, tilers coming in, the grouter's going to be here tomorrow, and that all needs to be done before the sparkies are here on Friday. So we've got to make sure the tilers arrive today.
Yep.
And that's critical for a project success.
And also points like that for our guys on site also helps them to be able to, if they've still got a few points that they're finishing some framing or something and the plumber's coming to start doing their first fix, it's like, okay, well, we need to be done by Thursday. This area needs to be done so that trade can actually come, rather than just being kept in the dark and all of a sudden the plumber rocks up and it's like, geez, boys, you got a couple of days of framing to go yet? What am I even doing here? So at least it's giving that awareness to the rest of your team and not keeping them in the dark as well. It's sharing that information.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, if it's up on the board, if someone's forgotten, they can just go back.
Yeah.
And it's there. It's a good reminder every single day. Please, everyone adopt whiteboards.
It is very useful. There's the tech side of it is fantastic because you can take that with you everywhere. But there's just, it's just the general nature of the building industry. Well, it's people really. It's the visual aspect. People will connect with seeing that, seeing it visually rather than, trying to track it on a device or something like that. It's just so much easier to interpret.
I'd also argue it's part of your open communication, right? Like you're not trying to hide.
True.
And it changed. There was times when those weeks would get moved to a different week or whatever that's there, but we could always see what was going on.
And that's also what works effective as well. It's like we give you that 2-week update from site meeting as to what is happening in there. It's not that we don't want to give you what's happening in 4 months' time, but it's kind of that
it's just moving.
We're giving you something, but not all of it, because things will always move.
Yes. And
we don't want to set that unrealistic expectation if we did have a hold up for a couple of weeks and you were expecting in 3 months' time, that time frame finally comes around. It's like, oh, I thought the plumber was supposed to be here. Where's the plumber? We don't want you to panic in that aspect as well. So again, it's open communication. We've had a delay. This is what's happening in the next 2 weeks. We've had to move a few things around. This is where we're at. All good.
Yeah.
Yep. Anything you'd do or what, if you were to do this again, what would you do the same and what would you do differently?
I think we've agreed. I think we'd engage builder earlier in the design process. That's probably the one thing we'd change. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what difference it would have actually made, to be honest. But I just think it would have. I think we probably would have got to the final design earlier, with some of that thought and ideas.
I'd probably also add I really, really liked how we did selections right at the start.
Yeah.
Because that meant that there was no stress in halfway through a build, you turning around and going, right, well, we need to know what oven you're selecting.
Yeah.
Or what tapware are you going with.
Or the panic of the builder. It's like, oh, shit.
I feel like
the tiles need to be here in 2 weeks. Can you guys duck down to Beaumont's and pick them out? Like, yeah.
So
I feel like you've forgotten the stress that you went through during selections.
Yeah, well, I think because it coincided with the holiday.
Oh, yes.
Better to have that
100%
prior to the build.
Absolutely. Yes, it took all of that off the critical path of construction and just made it a smoother process.
Yep.
So I loved how that was done.
Good.
Yeah, I think the only change would have earlier involvement.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, yeah, let's do it again.
Yeah.
You free next week?
Where are we building? Last one I've got for you. Now that it's done, what does this home mean to you guys?
I don't even know that we know yet. And I think I said this to you the other day when we were around.
It
hasn't felt even ours, although coming back last week after a holiday and seeing the fence down, when I was out in the back and we were moving something around, I can't remember what, and looked back in to see the light, all of a sudden then there was that kind of warmth coming out of the house, and that was the first time I've kind of gone, oh, shit, like this is what we've built, but it's ours. You know, I think we're sleeping on a mattress on the floor tonight in the bedroom upstairs because we can't wait to move in. I don't think we'll be right. So no, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. There's spaces in here that we haven't had before that feel amazing, and we've brought some stuff that was in the old design has kind of come inside the house, and very much looking forward to enjoying those. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I wouldn't have a clue at the moment. Well, sorry, that's not true. What I do know is I'm looking forward to being able to actually cook properly in a decent sized kitchen and not bump into the other three.
That'd be a big difference from the last 9 months.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess I'm just enjoying. I mean, it's a beautiful space. There's no doubt about that. It's just having my connection back in with the environment. It's a very warm, inviting space. And I can't wait to live in it.
Great. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Hope that the listeners get a lot out of it. Homeowners that are thinking of doing their own little journey, that they can get some points from you guys. And builders, I hope that you guys also got some value out of that as well. How to educate your client and get involved in that process and communicate well and have ultimately a successful building project.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you want to find out more about Build Insight, head over to the website buildinsite.com.au. Over on the website, you'll find links to previous podcast episodes as well as our YouTube channel, Instagram and Facebook. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. Catch you on the next one.
Well, that's a wrap for another week's episode of the Build Insight podcast. Before we leave, just want to give a huge shout out to all of our sponsors for their ongoing support. Without their help, Build Insight wouldn't be what it is today.
Let's cue the disclaimer. I need to let you know that myself and the Build Insight team are in no way, shape or form qualified to give you personal or specific business advice. We strongly encourage you seek out the use of professionals for products or when you are making personal or business decisions. Everything discussed during the Build Insight podcast is our own and the guest opinion and personal experience and is of a general nature only. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Catch you on the next one.